Joining us now, Bruce Forham, spokesperson for Parks and Leisure Australia and co-author of Open Space Planning and Design Guide. He joins us now. Bruce, what is that document? Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. Look, the document has been produced by Parks and Leisure Australia, who's, I guess, an organisation that represents people working in the parks and recreation industry across Australia. The intention was that the document was to assist in looking at the provision of open space and, I guess, get some more consistency in the approaches to open space. As a member organisation, what we heard from a number of our constituents, which includes open space planners, rec planners, landscape architects, stat planners, was that, you know, there seemed to be no consistency and a guide to assist in how we might apply the provision and, I guess, the design for open space. So it was put there to assist with that and hopefully get some consistency in the application of the planning and delivery and funding then of open spaces.
What are the different types of open spaces that we're talking about, Bruce? We've got many different forms of open space in our community. What are the types?
Yeah, look, we've got obviously the most obvious one to most people is active sporting reserves. We've got passive reserves. We've got neighbourhood parks. We've got, you know, passive spaces that people use. We've got areas of significance, you know, that we need to protect with historical, I guess, remnants, that type of thing. So we also have things like, I guess, road reserves, which are considered part of open space, creek corridors and those sorts of things. So the intention really was to try and give a guide to, as I say, the planners and deliverers of these spaces to be a bit more consistent. But I suppose the bottom line is that there was concern within our industry that open spaces were being impacted, particularly in the areas of urban regeneration, and also some consistency in the urban growth areas.
What's your view on pocket parks? You know how we used to have these small pocket parks, and many planners would say, listen, you don't need pocket parks because they're too small to be effective for basically anything. All they do is collect rubbish, and so council sold off the pocket parks. Now we're talking about saying, listen, maybe not such a good idea. Maybe we need those little parks in our neighbourhoods because that's where people go, whether it's with their kids, whether it's with their dogs, whether it's with their sitting there reading a book, getting some sun.
I like the idea.
What do you think about it? Keep the pocket parks?
Yeah, look, I think, I guess the issue with particularly urban regeneration and new development, that the pocket parks become more important to have space that people can just gather. I guess one of the things that we're finding from our membership is that it's what's there to attract people to it, and it's the type of furnishings you might put in there that obviously a pocket park, the type of thing is going to be different to, you know, an active sports reserve and the like, and that gives people an opportunity to come together, to meet and, you know, essentially possibly walk dogs, get out with their children and those sorts of things. So I think there has been a shift. There's certainly been a shift, and some of the thinking was that, you know, they may be redundant, but as we get this large-scale development, particularly in the inner parts of the city of Melbourne, I think they become incredibly important. And I guess our learnings are from the UK and parts of Europe, where, you know, the chat corners and those sorts of things are very well used and very well appreciated.
Is that that's a new terminology I haven't heard, a chat corner?
Yeah, look, it's a European thing where a number of communities, particularly in I guess we've learned from, is where people come together and just sit and chat. And you'll see in parts of Italy and Greece and the like is that local people will just come together, meet and spend time together. And that becomes, you know, daily, often routine for people. And I think it's a new phenomena that is only just starting, but I think it's been driven, as I say, by the, you know, the urban development that's happening, particularly in the inner cities.
And I reckon if I'm on that chat corner and I look to my left, I might see a pop-up restaurant.
You might see one too.
Yeah. That's one of those caravans.
Another disturbing emerging trend. Things just pop up. Is there anything that's permanent anymore, I wonder?
I'll tell you one thing, Bruce. My staff really diligently doing their job, because they've given me a 119-page document called the Open Space Planning and Design Guide by Parks and Leisure Australia, thinking I'm going to read it all this.
119 pages.
Didn't quite get a chance to read it last night, but I promise that I will. It certainly is a very, very detailed document and a robust assessment of how you can plan for open space and design it. So good for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, and the feedback we've had from our membership, as I say, there's a range of people who have interest in provision of open spaces. Our interest is for future generations, and we really need to be planning it appropriately to ensure that, you know, that open space can be enjoyed for future generations.
Good on you, Bruce. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Bruce Forham, spokesperson for Parks and Leisure Australia, the Space Planning and Design Guide. Drinks, anyone? Let's cross down to Toorak and a la carte at Vintage Cellars.